Hey, this is Joel Baker with American Giants. We always want to take the opportunity to tell you about muffler men or giants when they come up for sale, and a really unique one has just recently come up for sale that we're going to be selling through American Giants for the owner. And these guys were called Corys, and I have done a ton of research and got very little information, but they appeared to stand at marathon stations specifically in Indiana only. And with a little further research, I've discovered that there are Uncle Sam statues that also are identical to them. So we don't know which came first, the Uncle Sam or the Cory, but one of these Cory statues is available in Indiana. And these are not made by International Fiberglass, but they're still kind of a really rare, unique giant, and they certainly don't come up for sale very often. The history behind Cory statues is shrouded in mystery, and many facts remain uncovered. Faded Marathon oil logos have led to speculation that they were used by the service stations back in the 60s and 70s. The name Cory has been found on the left arm of a few of the statues, and so today, these giants are known as Corys. They seem to be specific to Indiana, and original locations include Connorsville, Cambridge City, and Newcastle. We know by the mid-80s Marathon was no longer using the Giants, and at least one of them switched over to flagman gas and was photographed by the famous John Margolis. Today, only 2 Corys are left, and one was used for flagman gas in Connorsville before moving to Muncie in the early 90s. He was used by Pam Reason Auto Sales and was displayed on North Broadway. By 2005, Pam had closed her business and was serving Tom Wood Honda as their sales manager. The Giant was sold and relocated to a rural stretch of Highway 18 near Montpelier, where he was given an ice cream cone to hold and stood out front of the Tin Lizzie ice cream shop. He was also briefly featured in the opening of Parks and Recreation. He has since fallen on hard times with the closure of the business and suffers from a deteriorating paint job. The second surviving Cory stands in Newcastle and has for decades. He stands out back of a place called the Ice House Tavern, which seems to date back to the late 60s. The Ice House Tavern had a connecting building called the Tank, and both used the same address. The Tank was an old barn turned restaurant with a flea market atmosphere, built from an old freight depot. Harry Burke and his wife Jane, who owned the Ice House Tavern, decided to expand the operation to include an unusual lobster restaurant and move the old depot across the tracks to join the small tavern building. The place was decorated with interesting decor like old pots and pans, pictures of Indy 500, and mishmash of items hanging from the ceiling, including a giant pair of overalls. They even had a few church pews inside where you could sit and watch old-timey movies while you waited to eat. Harry had collected the items over the years from all kinds of different places. There were many old farm tools as well as a speedboat hanging from the ceiling, and even a mermaid caught in a net. The main attraction was the all-you-can-eat 60-foot seafood buffet, which was legendary in the area, as it was thousands of miles from the ocean. For only $6.95, you could feast on lobster and listen to live entertainment. Old newspaper ads show Gene Kendall and the Oklahoma Boys, comedian Danny Hood and his magic show, and Miss Peggy Sue, Harper Harris, and the County Travelers were regulars for the customers to enjoy, all while eating seafood sitting on tractor seats. At its peak, over 5,000 lobsters were flown in each week to feed over 800 people on Friday and Saturday nights. It is not known exactly when Cory arrived on the scene, as he is never mentioned in advertising for the Tank or the Ice House Tavern. Either a Marathon gas station was also nearby, or Cory was moved from a Marathon station to this location to join the interesting Lobster House. A 1968 newspaper advertisement showed the use of a flagman figure which may reference Cory, who may have held a flag in the parking lot. It is also interesting to note that Corys were used by Flagman Gas, and before that, the stations were known as Gilmore Gasoline. Gilmore Gas clearly displayed a flagman mascot. Sometime after 1983, the Tank either burned or was bulldozed, and just the original Ice House Tavern was left, with a large empty concrete slab next to it where the Tank had stood. Although there are only 2 known Corys left, The company that made them also made an Uncle Sam statue from the same mold. About 5 of the Uncle Sams still survive, including the one owned by Tico Nunn in Hatch, New Mexico, and that giant originally stood in Ohio. Recently, the property on which Cory stands was purchased, and the new owners have no use for Cory, and would like to find him a good home. So, after learning a little bit more about Cory, if you are interested in possibly obtaining and purchasing this giant, feel free to reach out to me at the email provided. We will run an offer board on the website where you can see what the offers are and what people are offering. So that is a little bit of history on Cory statues, a very rare giant on the American roadsides. But if you are interested, certainly reach out and contact us. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see if we can find this guy a nice home.